boomers. Today I want to talk about how to go from ordinary consciousness to higher awareness. And we can do this at every moment of every day. We don't have to be a victim to the news. We don't have to be a victim of how people think of us. Or we don't have to be a victim of how we think about ourselves. We can elevate our awareness to higher planes of consciousness. I listened to a video this morning by Wayne Dyer, who years ago I listened to every day, and I just every now and then like to touch base with him. He tells the story about the four philanthropists who have different ways of approaching a person who was taken from a man who was taken from his village and placed into a prison. And the first philanthropist gives him food, the second one gives him blankets and a bed, and the third gives him wealth, and the fourth finds the key to the prison and sets him free. Obviously, the fourth one knows what life is all about. We all want freedom. We all want to be inwardly enlightened as opposed to basing our enlightenment on outside forces. So freeing, we have to think that it's the higher consciousness that can free us from suffering and abandonment, and that's what it comes down to. Carlos Castaneda was Wayne Dyer's higher consciousness in many ways. He said that daily awareness is in a mansion of 1,000 rooms. The real spiritual journey is learning to explore beyond the confines of what we think we know. So what we know and what we believe are two different things, although what we know can turn into a belief that serves us, which is very interesting. And you could, we often true knowing comes from direct experience, just like learning to swim. You might think to yourself, well, I can't swim. There's no way I can swim. That's doubt. But the way you banish all doubt is to do it. Jump into the water with maybe having somebody instruct you as to how to swim. And once you know how to swim, you do not need to doubt that you don't know how to swim, because you do. That's just or riding a bicycle, or tying your shoelaces, or learning how to talk as a baby, as a child. It's just an amazing thing. And then he tells a story about a cookie thief, which I find to be hilarious. I remember this from before, where this woman was on an airplane and she had a bag of cookies in her purse. Suddenly she realized the guy next to her had a bag of cookies that she assumed he had taken from her purse. So she watched him eat cookie by cookie, and she thought, I'm really mad he stole my cookies. So at the end, he gave her half a cookie. So as she was leaving, as she left there, the airplane stopped and she got to get out of there, she noticed that her bag of cookies was untouched in her purse. And of course, she felt deep remorse for her inability to even share or to have a broadened consciousness about the whole thing. And of course, she was wrong to even have these assumptions about this person. It's very interesting. So what we need to do is shift from the ego of me, mine, to choosing peace over being right in relationships. So he talks about that a lot. You know, if you are in an argument with a person, and I have still to learn this at many times, especially in this recent political turmoil that we are experiencing in this country, I have to let go of having to be right, because I am right about this situation. People don't think that it doesn't matter what they think. I just need to detach myself, especially as we're nearing this election. I'm getting tired of listening to all of this discourse about everything, and I do need to, I share political things that I believe are true on Twitter, and that's part of what I have to do. That's what I'm doing to help the Democrats. But it's getting to be so disgusting, and I don't think it'll ever end, because people are into having to be right over the peace of mind that comes from allowing people to think what they think, to be who they are. And as we approach these controversial topics with people, we can allow them. We don't have to argue with them. And as we step aside and do some of these I am meditations that Wayne Dyer has always talked about, I am peace, I am love, I am the I am discourses. I think I have that book somewhere. I bought them at some point. And by doing the I am meditations, you are shifting from the ego to your higher self. It's like, and so in your relationships, if you don't want to alienate a person by assuming and stating that I am right, you let it go. It's so important. And then he talks about if his daughter went to a doctor because she had some lesions that the doctor had diagnosed as flat warts. They couldn't do anything about these warts, like burn them off. I think they were on her face. And they didn't want to disturb her beautiful face by burning them off and having permanent scars. So he said, why don't you just talk to your warts and tell them how you feel, and that you would, maybe love them, love your warts. And in fact, the other night I was listening to a Joe Dispenza meditation. He says wherever you have pain in your body or even pain in your mind, you do the heart to head, you breathe through the body, you harmonize the heart with the head, the brain, the frontal cortex. And when you harmonize these parts of your body, bringing everything into coherence, then you send energy to that which is in pain, to that which you have a tumor, you have cancer, you have any number of different diagnoses. And of course, I'm not saying that that's what you do other than following a doctor's advice. We need to integrative medicine. If it's a dire situation, and if you were in a car accident and you have broken bones, of course, you go to the hospital. But when you are in these dire situations, you do this message, you do this breathing exercise, you harmonize the heart with the frontal cortex and the brain, and you send messages to that which needs healing. And you do it without breaking consciousness. You do it every day. You might want to do, especially in those kinds of situations, you might want to do it many times a day. In fact, you might want to do it all day. So when little Serena, I think, or one of his daughters, did this meditation on her flat warts, those little lesions disappeared. I just think that is so cool. One of the books I've always loved is this book by Wayne Dyer, and it's called The 10 Secrets of Success and Inner Peace. And his first one is have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. So that takes some work. As we all know, these things take work, Or I should even say, they take practice. Not necessarily work. They take practice. The second one is don't die with your music still inside of you. And this is so appropriate for people who retire, seniors, boomers who retire. Suddenly, they're kind of rudderless, they don't know exactly how to conduct their daily lives. So, you find something that gives you joy and you do it every day. Pick up an instrument, start painting again, do things that you might have dropped because work became too overwhelming. It's hard to do these things when you have a full-time job for so many years. I know from experience. You can't give away what you don't have. In other words, if I or anybody is talking about inner peace and joy, but inwardly you do not feel these things, you can't really give it away. People know if you are being authentic or not. The fourth is embrace silence. Well, we've talked about that here for the last 400 or so videos. You cannot, go through life constantly doing, listening to all these news programs or watching television or watching movies. You have to stop and feel the silence within your soul. Go out into nature, take walks without your iPhone. You know what I mean? You need to totally remove these things that are difficult for your peace of mind. You have to give up your personal history. People are often talking about their past. They talk about the past in politics. They talk about the past in their personal lives. Doesn't that get old? We live in the present moment and we move forward. I know that I have had a very interesting life with very, very interesting people. We had, people like Dorothy Day and Ammon Hennessy come to the house. My mother made best friends with the college professors in our hometown. We had an open door policy where people could come and go as they pleased. I always thought that was very cool. That was back in the 60s and 70s, and that kind of thing doesn't really happen as much anymore. But that is called, in my opinion now, I am going to give up my personal history, even though we have to tell, often when we tell stories, it is based on our personal history. So, and our personal history can elicit a lot of laughter because we are looking at our life in retrospect. I always say, if you can laugh about your life in the future as you go on, why can't you laugh when these things happen to you in the present? Because we will inevitably start laughing at whatever it was that happened. So the sixth secret, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. That is what Einstein called insanity. So that's a good one. There are no justified resentments. That comes directly from many, I would think, from the teachings of Jesus and all the great saints. And also it's a huge teaching in A Course in Miracles. No more grievances, no more resentments, and total forgiveness for everything. No exceptions. And treat yourself as if you already are what you'd like to be. So if you don't feel like you are what you want to be, then treat yourself, imagine, again, the imagination is everything. Imagine the person you really want to be, and in some respects, you probably already are that person. Or if you're not, imagine what it is you want to be. And a lot of that deals with kindness towards others. Kindness is the Dalai Lama's religion. Kindness is everything in our approach to life. Treasure your divinity, however you define that. What is God to you? What is goddess to you? What is divinity? What is your higher power? What is that? Define it and treasure it. And the 10th is avoiding all thoughts that weaken you. So we can do a simple test. of strength. If you feel strong when you think about love, peace, and generosity, gratitude, you feel strong. But when you feel resentment, hate, unforgiveness, loveless perception, you become weak. So become strong in the things that will help you. Okay, so there's going to be a video that shows up here. Please subscribe. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I think I said by January the 1st. And I will be posting videos every day. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.